Hey guys, welcome back to Mighty Morphin DJ. I'm DJ, and today we're going to count down the top 10 things that I loved about the Power Rangers once and always. Let's take a look at it. Alright, so the first thing that I really liked about this episode was the opening title sequence. First we get Billy, he's surrounded by putties, and then the other Rangers teleport in to save his bacon, and then they turn around, they do the opening sequence, they start running at Rita, there's the big explosion behind them, and then you get Power Rangers once and always across the top of the screen. I absolutely love that. I thought that was classic. It just, it made me go, okay, this is gonna be good. So I really enjoyed that, and that is the first thing that I really loved. Alright, the second thing that I really liked is that Rita is on the ground fighting, doing grunt work, getting her hands dirty. She never ever did that in the history of the show, and I really liked that they had her down there doing that. I mean, in the opening sequence, she's down there going toe-to-toe with Billy, and then Billy does that twisty jump thing, and then when he comes down, he just elbows her right in the face, which was badass, by the way. I really enjoyed that, and she didn't just do it that one time. She also did it when she came down and she fought with Ming, which I really liked. I mean, Rita got her hands dirty, and I really enjoyed watching that. Alright, the third thing that I really liked about this special were the performances by David Yost, Walter Jones, and Barbara Goodson. All three of them just turned in stellar performances. I absolutely loved it. Billy was still Billy, but he was older, more mature Billy. Zach was still Zach, but he was older, more mature Zach, still doing the hip-hop keto. And then Barbara Goodson dialed in the single best performance of Rita Repulsa she has ever done, because this time the kid gloves were off, so to speak, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Every one of them. They did such a good job, and I would really love to see more from all three of them in the future. Alright, the number 4 thing that I loved, the sets. The new sets, the new command center, the juice bar. And like I said in my spoiler review of Power Rangers Once and Always, click right here to check that out now. I really don't think that they built those sets just for one use and then they're going to tear them down. That's too much manpower, that's too much money. They've got to have plans for them. They wouldn't have built a whole new command center without thinking, how are we going to use this later on? They wouldn't have replicated the entire juice bar without thinking, how are we going to do this later on? Because those sets cost time, they cost money, they cost manpower. And this is a Power Rangers hour-long special. It wasn't a $1 million movie that they expected to bring in millions of dollars. They have had to think, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it and we're going to use it later on as well. This is not going to be a one-time use. But I really enjoyed it. I love the new command center. I love the new juice bar. Even though it's the old juice bar, it's the new juice bar because they built a new one, but it's the same one. You know what I mean. I loved it, and I hope we get to see more things like that in the future. Alright, the number 5 thing that I enjoyed, and that was the overall plot and story of the show. I really enjoyed it. Everything made sense. Everything kind of helped contribute to it. You've got how Rita came back when they're trying to find Zordon, but they end up bringing Rita back by accident. That was good. That made sense. I would never have even seen that coming, so kudos to whoever wrote that. You've got Ming's story arc where she wants to take over and be the new Yellow Ranger in honor of her mom, but she's also on a journey of revenge. She wants to get back at Rita for what she did. And then everything culminated at the end of the episode just the way it needed to. It was really good. It was well written, better written than most of the seasons of Power Rangers that we'd gotten in the past, RPM being the exception. That one was exceptionally well written. It was just really well done overall, and I enjoyed it, and I hope we get to see more of that and even better writing in the future. Hey guys, before we get into the rest of the video, I have a question for you. Do you like my content? Do you want to see more of it? Are you just a fan of the Power Rangers in general? If you said yes to any of these, then I have a small request. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell to receive notifications of future videos. And now, on with the video. Alright, number 6 on my list, the fight sequences. so much better than what we had gotten in the past. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with what we had before. It always served a purpose, it did what we expected it to do, and I enjoyed it. But for these fight sequences, the kid gloves were off. We're stabbing putties. We're stabbing monsters with our weapons. Rita gets just stabbed through the gut. That was awesome. And then Zack blatantly blows Rita away at the end of the special. The fight sequences were so much better than we'd ever seen before because they were allowed to do things that typically they are not allowed to do, because this was for a more mature, more adult audience. And I just would really love for them to continue doing more of that moving forward. Have two branches of Power Rangers. Have the kids show and then have an adult show. You know, don't make it so adult like that YouTube movie from God knows how long ago, because I personally don't want to see more of that. But go a little bit more in the direction of what we just got with the special, and I think we really got something there. Alright, number 7 on my list. Speaking of fight sequences, Hip Hop Keto. I really loved seeing Zack bring back Hip Hop Keto. It was so fun to watch. Even in the trailer that we got, I'm sitting there and I'm going, yeah, it was so much fun. I enjoyed it. And Walter Jones can still move. That man still has agility. He still has athleticism. He has not lost a step. That was just so much fun to watch. I enjoyed it. It gets its own spot on the list. Alright, the number 8 thing that I really enjoyed about the special was the relationship between Zack and Min. I really did like it. Zack steps in, he becomes her guardian, moves into the house so he can keep her in an environment where she feels safe, where she feels familiar, and the growth of the character of Zack from the original Mighty Morphin fast forward to 30 years into today, they just did such a really good job with that, and Walter Jones did such a good job of performing that. Especially the scene in the command center where he is trying to impress upon her what it really means to be a ranger and what was really going through Billy's head when Rita came back, what he was really trying to do. I really enjoyed that. I thought they did such a good job with that. They did a really good job of showing that there is a parent-child relationship there, while also maintaining that, hey, Zack is not her dad. At one point, she calls him Uncle Zack, which she only did it that one time. It's probably not necessary for her to do that again. I think Zack was just fine. But they did a really good job of showing us what that relationship was and how it worked and what the dynamic of it was. I really liked it. I thought they did a good job. Alright, the number 9 thing that I really liked about this special, the dialogue. All throughout the special, there was a lot of dialogue that was in there that just, it was well performed, it was well written, it made sense. Yes, there was some dialogue in there that was just a line for the sake of there being a line for whoever was in the scene at the time. But overall, it was better dialogue than we had seen in Power Rangers of the past. With the exception of RPM, I felt like there was no wasted dialogue in that season. That's one of my favorite seasons of the entire show. I herald it as the gold standard of what Power Rangers could be if the people behind it give it the effort. But overall, just really good writing, really good dialogue. The performances of the dialogue, especially by David Yost, Barbara Goodson, Walter Jones. I know I'm harping about that a lot, but they did such a good job of delivering all their lines. I really liked it. Alright, and the final thing that I really liked about this special was the tribute to Twee Train, who played Trini, the original Yellow Ranger. I really liked how they handled that, and I really don't know how they could have handled it better. I honestly don't know how I would have handled it had I been tasked with writing it. Everything from Min doing the exact same thing her mom did, throwing herself in front of that blast to save Billy, which puts Billy in a predicament like, oh my god, what have I done? And then they think Min's knocked out, but then her eye opens, and you just see all the really nice stock footage of Trini throughout the course of the first season of Mighty Morphin, and the music that they did behind it. And then to Charlie Kirsch's credit, when she opens both her eyes after seeing this vision, seeing these memories through the morphing grid, and she says, Mom? That was a very convincing delivery of the line. I was convinced of what she was feeling based on her performance in that one scene. Because her acting is not bad. Her acting is about the level that all the other actors of Power Rangers were when they first got started. So I think she has potential to grow, and I think she will grow if she has more to do with the franchise later on, especially if she gets involved in other projects that help her progress as an actress. So I thought they did a really good job with that all the way around. And again, I don't know how they could have handled it better. I don't know how I could have handled it had I been tasked with it. It was really well done, and I just really appreciated it. And I really hope we get something similar for Tommy at some point in the future, because God knows Jason David Frank deserves that just as much. Alright guys, well I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, this was my top 10 things that I loved about the 30th anniversary special Once and Always. I loved the entire thing start to finish, but these were my 10 favorite things, the things that really stuck out to me. I really enjoyed the special. I really hope they do more of these in the future. But in the meantime, if you guys have enjoyed this video, please check out this video right here and let me know what you think about it in the comments below. But in the meantime, this has been Mighty Morphin DJ. I'm DJ, and you know what time it is.